Hey, Shosha Palmer here from ptstartupsecrets.com, and in this video I want to talk about why or how you should use logic and emotions to sell, and why you should stop selling personal training or your personal training services. So essentially, this might sound like a weird title, stop selling personal training services or stop selling your personal training, but essentially, like, no one cares about your personal training, essentially. Like, people only care about themselves. Yeah. Obviously, logic is going to play a part in terms of, how much they have budgeted, but essentially this kind of diminishes in comparison compared to what people want. Yeah. And that's all people are there for, is people care about them. And this, spreads to so many different areas when it comes to the business of selling personal training. Like, I've been going on, I've been speaking with a lot of, of trainers, in a similar position to me. So in low cost gyms, and, you can see everyone, a lot of people are selling themselves on, winning these awards or being a personal trainer for 20 years or 15 years or having these qualifications, or, all about them and, how they've been a dancer for so long and things that might be nice, but essentially, that's not going to get people over the line. Like, people really only care about themselves. Like, what's in it for me? That's what you should always be thinking about in terms of the client when you're sitting across from someone or trying to get someone in for a session. And once, I really got lost on this. Like, I got so lost that I actually done a bodybuilding competition. That's how confused I was. And then when I didn't make any money and when I was losing money, I was confused. I was like, what's going on? I've put all this hard work. I've spent all this money on posing, practicing, and all this money on food and prep. And I've got all these pictures, and I've even won a medal. I even got a silver medal and a bronze medal as well. Like, why am I not picking up clients? Why isn't everyone coming to me? I was so lost. And the reality is, no one cared. I was the only one that cared. People might have admired, but in terms of, and the people that probably did admire weren't going to pay me for personal training. So, like, the people that really cared, so Mrs. Jones or Sally or Sarah, who, was trying to lose a bit of weight for a wedding or a holiday, did not give a damn that I'd done a competition. And, stupidly enough, I thought that would put me ahead of other trainers in my gym or other trainers in the area, but it was so stupid. And, it's something I've seen looking at, everyone, because a lot of, a lot of you guys have public profiles. I've been looking, I've been lurking, checking out see how you're doing. And yeah, essentially I've been seeing the same things, and essentially it doesn't work. So yeah, no one cares that you've won this competition. You used to be a footballer, this and that. Unless they want to be a footballer, or or they want to they want to be a judo champion and you're a judo champion, then it doesn't really matter. And essentially, the majority of people in the gym want to lose weight for a certain reason. Yeah, that's the majority of people who are going to be your personal training clients. If you're hitting the mass, if you're working in a commercial gym, with thousands of members, that's going to be a huge part of the market. Are going to be, ladies, gentlemen who want to lose weight, get in shape, essentially. So essentially, yeah, you want to sell these outcomes. You want to encourage, you want to sell the future. So, of your client going on these holidays, looking in great shape, going for that wedding, fitting in those jeans, reducing the dress size, and these are more surface reasons. And then if you can, you want to go even deeper than that. Like, why do they want to get in shape for their wedding? Well, maybe obviously they're going to be wedding photos, there's going to be friends and family there. They want to fit into a dress. This is, they're only going to get married once. They want to be beautiful for their potential husband. Or if they go on holiday, they want to be comfortable on the beach. They want to wear that bikini they want to wear. They want to, enjoy themselves and, look more sexy for their partner. Or, a multitude of reasons why someone might want to get in shape. And, you want to really get into that as much as you can. And, you don't want to dive in with those deep questions off the bat, but having that when you're selling someone, when you're selling a prospect, will make the world of difference. Yeah. And, essentially, this attitude is essentially, you want to look at yourself like a doctor. So someone has a problem, they want to get from here to here, you need to prescribe the best options. So the best example for this is, someone's got, someone's got a headache, and, And, you need to find out how long they've had the headache for. Where do they feel it? Do they feel it here? Do they feel it here? How painful is that out of 10? Is it pure agony? Is it just a minor headache? How often have they been having it? And until you know all those pieces of information, that's only when you can give the right diagnosis. Yeah. So let's say someone goes up to you and they say, how much for 5 personal training sessions, or how much do you charge? Like, as a personal trainer, essentially, you don't want to kind of play in that narrative, because essentially, you need to find out why that prospect, why that member has a need to have those personal training sessions, because it's going to be a lot easier to, turn them into a client. And you want to know if essentially that's a person that you want to be as a client, essentially. Because, if they're just saying that they want, personal training sessions, chances are they're price shopping. So they want to find out who's the cheapest, because they feel like personal training in itself is going to get them to their goal. Whereas you need to build the bigger picture of, and create the full solution to figure out the goal and get them to their goal, if that makes sense. Yeah, because, it's your job to educate, as well as provide a service. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, if, someone does ask me my price and they are price shopping, chances are I will tell them, like, I will play the game, because, chances are if you be difficult, I need to get you into a session, they are going to just price shop anyway, and that could be a lost client. But, after you told them your price, make sure you don't just do the maths and tell them, and then, sell them on a 10 sessions, a block of 10 or 20 or whatever method that is, without sitting down from them and going through the goal. So, I would tell them my price, but that would be only to get them in for an assessment where I can fully break that down and figure out the goal, for example. So let's say a lady, for example, she was at the gym, she emailed me how much I charge, and I'm sure she emailed everyone else in the gym. I told her, but I said she should come in for an assessment anyway, so she did, because that's my process. And then I found out that her reason was because her boyfriend was in great shape and she was starting to feel self-conscious. And once I knew that information, it was very easy for me to sell, because not only was I selling her on my availability and my training options, but more importantly, I was selling her on how great she's going to feel once she gets this result with me, and obviously how I was going to help her with the training, what to do in the gym, nutrition, and that's the logical part, but to the greater purpose of helping her feel more confident, improving her relationship with her boyfriend, if that makes sense. So there's emotion on one side, there's logic on the other side, and they're both really important, because, if we go into human psychology and the brain, there's 3 parts of the brain. Yeah, so not get too deep. We've got the lizard brain, which is the same brain that flies and wasps and insects have. We all have the same fight or flight. So if you go to a flight or fly away, it's like, if we see a bear or we see a lion, we're probably going to run. If we see a gun, most people would run in that situation, or a knife. And then we have the emotional side. So this is where mammals have this, large mammals, and we have it as well. It's where you feel angry and, you feel love, or you feel, emotions. And this is a big part of what we need to sell, essentially. And essentially it reacts quicker to a stimulus. And then the third part, the neocortex, so that's the part of logic, so reasoning and rationality. So, when people, you might find, let's say something happened, you got really angry, and then after thinking about it, then you realized, that was stupid. That's because you didn't let your thinking brain process what made you upset, if that made sense. Yeah. So essentially we need to target all 3 parts of the brain. We need to target the primal lizard brain, the limbic emotional brain, and the logical brain as well, to really persuade someone. Yeah. And that's where the logic and emotion comes into play. Hopefully I haven't gone too deep and made it too complicated, but essentially, you need to really understand human psychology if you want to get, people to see the way you want, to see your view of things, to see your point. If you want to sell someone, you need to understand the thinking processes that go on. So yeah, so just a little breakdown, stop selling, pay as you go, please. You know, stop selling sessions at a time. Stop selling blocks of 5 and 10 and 20, and start selling outcomes, start selling solutions to problems, and start selling the vision and dreams, and, you know, make a crazy difference to your business. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up. So subscribe to catch more videos, so you can stay in the loop of, you know, all my best tips and information, of, you know, my lessons of how I, you know, managed to make over 11,000 in a month in a commercial low-cost gym. Like as well, leave me a comment. So, you know, I read all the comments, I get back to you as well. So I read and respond. It's great to, you know, to get your feedback as well. It helps me to create future videos. And, you know, catch me on social media, Instagram, Facebook. Join my free Facebook group, PT Startup Secrets. And, you know, it's a group with like-minded, you know, trainers, where we're all trying to help each other to make more money in the gym, essentially get more clients, help more people. And yeah, and, you know, if you want help, and you want more advice, you know, visit ptstartupsecrets.com. I'd love to help you there as well. All right, catch you in the next one.